In this video, I'm going to show an overview of the workflow to estimate a commercial electrical type project. Here we see I have Red Rhino estimating software open, and I already created an estimate. I'm ready to input materials. There are three main ways you can input materials into Red Rhino. There's the product catalog. Here I have it open. Now for commercial, we just would use 7,000, 8,000, and 9,000. So we input using the product catalog, wizards, we see a wizards button, or assemblies. Okay, so I'm going to just explain, show how this works, but the way to learn to use Red Rhino is when you get into an estimate to click on video clips, and to learn commercial, you'll watch the videos down the left-hand side, starting with the top one. Watch the videos down the left-hand side. To learn to estimate residential, you'll watch the videos down the center, okay? We have a list of videos, takes you step by step learning this software. And then for low voltage structured cabling, you'll watch the videos down the right-hand side. That's the main way to do it. Now also, just real quick, if you see the chat now button here, you can click on it and text back and forth with one of us who is answering questions you have for Red Rhino. Next, I'm going to show a blueprint, just a simple example of a blueprint. We'll go on from there. Now on screen now is an example of a small commercial project, just a couple of rooms, just for explaining the way it works. So here we see a picture of an office building. It has basically an office room and a storage room, okay? And it has symbols for receptacles here. For data drops, let me scroll this up and center it. It has symbols for receptacles and data drops, okay, and quads. It has 2x4 light fixtures. It has switches, okay, and there's 2x2 fixtures here. So there's a legend down the right, and it shows a panel at the bottom of the drawing with some circuits. Now, I have an example of a takeoff sheet. So the way it works, the flow works, is you make a material list from the blueprints, you make that list, and you input those materials into Red Rhino. I'm going to show you how Red Rhino speeds up that whole process. So after you count and measure, now this doesn't show the conduit paths, but if I was estimating this, I would measure how much MC cable or conduit I needed to go fixture to fixture, receptacle to receptacle, and then back to the panel. Okay, so next I'm going to show the material takeoff form with materials populated. On screen now is a list of materials that were listed from the estimate, or I should say from the blueprint page. We see that there's different receptacles. There's 9 duplex receptacles, 1 20 amp quad. There's 1 20 amp switch, 1 2-gang switch. You'll see that there's fixtures, MC cable, and EMT with some boxes and a circuit breaker. Now, I'm going to show how to input some of these items into Red Rhino and the tools you use to do it that makes it fast. I want you to notice that I listed on here 3/4 inch EMT with 5 number 12s and 70 feet. Notice that I didn't put in couplings, connectors, supports, or total footage of wire. I'm going to show you again how it makes the process of estimating really fast using the tools in Red Rhino. You don't have to count everything. Show you what I mean. I'm going to start by inputting assemblies using, or I should say, input receptacles using assemblies. Okay, so I click on the assemblies button. We see that there's assemblies for residential, commercial, and structured cabling. I'm going to drill down into the commercial assembly list to find the right assembly. Under commercial, you'll see we have assemblies for fixtures, switches, dimmers, receptacles, and so on, for 4S boxes, 411 boxes, and so on. There's motor connection assemblies, transformer assemblies. These assemblies make it lightning fast to do input. I'll show you what I mean. Here I've opened up receptacle assemblies, and there's many of them here. 1-gang, 2-gang for specification grade. I'm just going to go to the assembly I need here, and the number of assemblies I was putting in for receptacle, 20 amp, was 9. So I find the correct assembly, I put in the quantity here, put in 9. I'm just going to click the add button and it'll populate materials to the right. Now here we see the materials that Red Rhino populated for the receptacle assemblies. It shows 4S boxes, 1 gang plaster rings, a little 50 cents I should say for mounting hardware, the receptacle, the plate, the ground pigtail, and some wire nuts. Okay, so again, I don't have to count all these parts and pieces to do the estimate. I just count the number of duplex receptacles or quad receptacles or 1 gang, 2 gang, 3 gang switches. I input those assemblies and it displays all the materials needed for each one. And back to the takeoff sheet, it shows that there's 9 2x4 receptacles, LED, and 3 2x2. So I'm going to input those next. In the assembly catalog, I go to recessed LED fixtures here, and it displays lots of different recessed fixture assemblies down here. Now, let me point out up here for fixture assemblies, there's fixture assemblies for recessed and surface, fluorescent and LED for incandescent. There's assemblies pre-built for exit lights, even outdoor light fixtures, pole lights, and so on. Okay, so we see on this list that I needed 9 2x4s, so I'll put that quantity in here. It's right here. Put 9 of these in. I'll put 3 2x2s. Then I just click the add button again and it populates to the right. I want to make an observation about that. Okay, here it shows the 2x4 assembly and the contents below it. So it shows 9 fixtures. Now it did display or does display labor only to install those fixtures. I have to get them quoted and input the quote into the estimate. That's another story. I just wanted to show that these fixture assemblies, it displays 2 earthquake wires or ceiling wires per fixture, a 6-foot whip, and wire nuts. So you'll notice I kind of didn't describe this before, but let me explain. It displays, Red Rhino displays the description, the quantity. It shows a price and a total price here. I know I'm going over this quickly, but I want you to understand this is what makes it so fast. It displays labor and total labor to install all those items. So again, these assemblies make it super fast. Next, I'll explain the Conduit Wizard. Now back on the takeoff sheet, we see that there was some 12-2, some 12-3 MC cable, and some 3/4 inch EMT. I'm going to show how to use the Conduit Wizard next. Super fast. Now I've opened the Conduit Wizard, and our videos explain how to use this. I'm just going to go input some of the 12-2 MC cable in here. So I'll set it up for that. I want you to know, though, that using the Conduit Wizard, I'm going to just click this drop down and show you. You see you can estimate PVC conduit, PVC coated rigid, EMT, rigid conduit, MC cable, the EMT Smurf tube type conduit, seal tight, some of the direct burial or encased burial thin walls, aluminum flex. You get it, all of your conduits you estimate using the Conduit Wizard. I'm just going to set it up right now for MC cable. I'm going to go here and I'm going to select 12-2. I know I'm going fast, but I just want to show you how this thing works. So all I do is I put in the total footage of MC cable here, a number of runs. So I know that there was 230 feet of MC cable. I'll type that in here. It was actually 234. Let me go make it right. 234, 234 feet. Number of runs right here is 8. Now it's going to display 2 connectors per run. So then I just click the add button. And when it populates to the right, we see that it added the MC cable, supports, and connectors. Okay, so it does display the footage, the total footage of MC cable, supports every 5 feet, and the connectors. Okay, and back to the takeoff sheet here, we see that there's 70 feet of EMT conduit, 3/4 inch EMT with 5 number 12s. There's 70 feet with 3 runs. I want to explain something. As I'm taking off this material, I check off each item as I input it into Red Rhino, so I don't lose my place or input it twice or forget it. Okay, so I just check the items off as I input them here. I'm going to show you the Conduit Wizard one more time using EMT conduit. Now I'm setting up the wizard for EMT conduit. I've selected EMT conduit size 3/4. It goes clear up to 4 inch. if you need to estimate feeders. Now, I want to point out something else just real quick. It has all different types of fittings for EMT. I'll click this drop down. It has set screw steel and die cast. It has weatherproof, which is your compression fittings, and it has insulated throat. Now I can set this up very quickly. I set it up with, of course, 3/4 inch EMT. I put in 70 feet, number of runs, and then I put 5 number 12 THHN stranded, okay? So once that's set up, and I want to explain something. It does it this fast if it's 70 feet or 700 feet or 7,000 feet. What I do is I take off all the conduit on a job and I go input it using the Conduit Wizard, different sizes in different entries. Okay, so I'm just going to click the add button one time. It'll populate to the right. I'm going to close the Conduit Wizard and show you. I'm going to scroll down here. So notice that input 3/4 inch, 70 feet of 3/4. It also displays the price and the labor to install it. It shows conduit, couplings, connectors, supports, and total footage of wire. See how this spit out 380 feet of wire? Now, this is what makes it so fast to use a Conduit Wizard is you don't have to count all the couplings and connectors and supports and then figure out how much wire. You just go input it and Red Rhino displays all that for you. Okay, now I've gone back to the product catalog. I just want to explain that Red Rhino has material pricing for thousands and thousands of items. It has material pricing and labor. So in commercial, this is the product catalog. I didn't show you this or I haven't input anything, but this has all different types of conduit fittings, elbows, SO cord, roof jacks, junction boxes, all different junction boxes from 4S boxes clear up to 24 by 36 inch J boxes. Occupancy sensors, wire mold, it has wire gutter, and on and on. Time clocks, photo cells, etc. Cord drilling. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. Now I'm just going to go input a couple circuit breakers. I'm going to drill down in the product catalog for 8,000. I'm going to go down to circuit breakers. I want to explain something before I do though. Red Rhino has labor built in it for panels 100 amp to 400 amp. Okay, so I just go to the panel schedule on a blueprint, count all the panels, count all the circuit breakers, and come input them here to capture the labor. Red Rhino also has switch gear up to 4,000 amps, so it has any size panel or switch gear that you need in there, plus circuit breaker termination. I'm just going to click on this. I'm going to go in and just input a couple circuit breakers, but I want to explain. Red Rhino has labor built in for circuit breakers, 1 pole, 2 pole, 3 pole, clear up to 3 pole, 4,000 amp. Anytime that you have to terminate a circuit breaker, you want to make sure and input it to capture the labor. I'm just going to go put in, I think there was 3 on the takeoff sheet. Yep, that was it. 3 1-pole circuit breakers and added. Now I have to move this back over so you can see it proper, but you'll see that it adds a circuit breaker. Now I have to get them quoted, but it displays the labor for that. I said this before, but the best advice I can give you is to watch these video clips. Just click on the video clips if you want to learn commercial or residential or structured cabling. Watch those video clips and it'll show you how Red Rhino works.